Hey, strangers. That's all I have. Welcome to another episode of The Strange Sessions. I'm Krista. With me, as always, is Kurt.
I'm Kurt. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Oh, you were talking to our listeners.
I was.
Wow. I should have thought about this more. How are you? How's your tooth? Let's talk about your tooth.
Weird.
It's weird.
It was not bad getting the crown on. There was literally no pain, but having two people digging in my mouth sucks. They like kind of cracked the side of my mouth when they were propping it open, so that hurts. But the tooth, I don't know if I need to go in and have it ground down because when I bite down, I can tell I'm biting on a surface on that side where I used to never bite on, and I don't know if that's a normal thing.
Usually they test your bite when you're done to make sure
which
it's
makes
even.
me wonder if it's gonna, because
Not that
it's
I've ever
even
had
a
a
little.
crown, but-
It's not as distracting today as it was yesterday, so I don't know if I'm just gonna get used to it or if I got to go back.
Okay.
But it hurt like hell yesterday, but it is better today.
Good.
So,
glad.
but I'm still not chewing on that side because it's sore, and I still am weirded out that it's contacting on that side. So hopefully my voice doesn't sound different when I'm talking.
Nope, not at all.
But no, that was okay.
Oh, and by the way, if you're just tuning in for the first time and you don't want to hear us talk about Kurt's teeth, check the show notes. Kurt will post the timestamp of the actual topic start time. You can skip over this chit chat. We're going to welcome new listeners or new strangers on the Facebook page. We're going to do a taste test, a little housekeeping. Usually takes about 20 minutes, but
Yeah.
back to your teeth.
Back to my teeth. No, so it's okay.
Well, hopefully you'll be ready for Turkey Day because
Turkey Day, I generally just load up on stuffing and mashed potatoes, and those are soft
there's not
anyway.
a lot of crunchy stuff on Thanksgiving, is there?
No. There's I don't know if you've seen a Meijer. There's a Meijer commercial out now where it's like a family around the table talking about, I love grandma's stuffing with the weird crunchy bits. There's the girl that says, I love the gravy with the weird lumps. I am in love with the girl that says that. She is.
I don't think I've seen it.
She is gorgeous. She's a Kurt girl. She's totally a Kurt girl.
Well, I'll have to watch.
So that's
this
an
commercial.
aside. But
well, we have a Meijer here, and I love Meijer.
So do I.
So I'll
but
watch
no,
for the
tooth is
commercial.
doing okay. I got my McDonald's this morning, and that was an ordeal.
Yeah,
because
let's hear about that. Tell me about that, Kurt.
First time this has ever happened. My order is $8.
Okay.
It's a
no change. It's like
no, it's $8.50 something because it's
sure.
it was like the 2 burrito meal.
Do you pull up and they're like, "Hey, Kurt"?
No, a large coffee and a small coffee.
Okay.
And
do you Do you drink the small coffee
and
on
a
the way
sausage
here?
biscuit too?
Okay.
So small coffee gets drunk on the way here,
and then you bring this one.
and I bring this one.
This is the one you do the photo with.
I got up to pay my $8, and the guy said the person ahead of you paid for you.
Shut up.
And I'm like, all right. I don't want to be a douche canoe and be like, well, I'm not going to pay for the person behind me. And it's like the guy paid for me.
Yeah, what if the person
and
behind
there's somebody
you is like
behind
$50?
me, and I am broke as hell right now, like badly, like scary.
You
and
could just be like, here's $8 towards their order.
I should have done that, but I was like, well, should I take the risk that theirs is more or less than mine or more? So I paid theirs, and it was like $16.
Oh,
and I was
man,
like,
it's
crap.
double.
I know. So now I'm even broker than I wanted to be, and I got to stop and get some groceries on the way home. I've been living off bologna sandwiches.
Random act of kindness.
I know.
Cost you an extra $8.
Screw and Kurt. But, so that's my McDonald's story.
I wonder if it just got more and more expensive as like the line went.
Yeah, the
like
last
the
one was
people
like,
behind
the
you.
last one was for a business or something. It was like $300. But no, we need to jump right into this because we have a lot to talk about.
Okay. Yeah, stop screwing around.
Stop talking
Kurt.
about my teeth and McDonald's and me being screwed at the drive-thru. So we got to give shout outs to our newest strangers, and those are Trenton Quicklick, Alina Vikdal, Jennifer McLean, and Andrew King. Thank you guys so much for joining. Andrew's in the UK, and he messaged me about how to join the group, and then all of a sudden he was already in, so he loves the podcast. So Andrew, thank you so much for finding us.
And we have another new listener from the UK who I sent you Jason, I think his name is. Hey, Jason, what's up?
Yeah. We're becoming big in the UK.
Yeah, man.
I would love to go back.
We should go visit.
I do. I want to, because last time I was there, it was just London. I want to venture out to the...
That'd be amazing.
You know, like I want to see like the Bronte Museum because Emily Bronte is my literature crush. But I also got two different
have a literature crush.
Two different shout outs for today. One of them is to a new podcast I found called All the Sins of Wisconsin. It's kind of a true crime podcast about things that have happened around Wisconsin.
So which one do you have a crush on? Because I was looking at their pictures and I'm like, wow, they're both really cute. And they have a lot of really like professional looking pictures of them.
Honestly, I didn't even think about it yet.
Oh,
no.
You haven't looked at the pictures?
No. I mean, I saw, but I didn't look.
with you?
They are super cute. I just saw like one picture and I was like, oh. And that's Mims and Fallon. They're the two that do the podcast.
So do you think those are like their podcasting names?
I don't know. We should have went with podcasting names.
Mims and Fallon. Those don't sound like real names.
But no, it's a really good podcast. So if you're in Wisconsin or just into true crime, I told them if they ever need research around one from the Manitowoc, Sheboygan area, we would definitely help them.
Just
so
not the Avery case.
Yeah, I told them that too. Because I was writing, I think it was Fallon I was writing back and forth with.
Oh, that's cool.
So Mims and Fallon, you guys are awesome. Keep up the good work. Yeah. And listeners, listen to their podcast, All the Sins of Wisconsin. And I wasn't going to do this until I was on the way down here, but I want to give a shout out to an app that I've been playing all the time because it's just.
Do you think it's listening to us right now? It could be.
It could be. No, it's called Q. CUE, and it stands for Cards, the Universe, and Everything.
Okay.
It's it showed up as a targeted ad on my Facebook, and I saw the pictures, and I'm like, that actually looks kind of cool. So I told Corey about it, and now Corey and I have been playing. This is what it looks like. I mean, it's like a cool. It's like a collectible card game.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
But what it does is it has thousands of cards about everything you can imagine. It has a section on owls. It has a section on space travel. Owls. It has a section on cats. It has a section on famous authors. It had a section on Halloween one that had ghosts, poltergeists, and.
So how do you play?
I'll show you. Like the cards. Like these are my cards. These are all the cards I own.
Wow. When did you start playing?
A couple days ago.
Oh, so you've already got like...
Yeah, because you buy cards in game with their currency. You can either coins or gems depending on what you do, and then you can use those coins or gems to buy more cards.
Okay.
So I told Corey about it, and now Corey's been playing it all the time. So him and I are constantly trading cards to each other because he gets doubles, I get doubles. And
so what's the goal?
The goal is to you're going to go into a league match against somebody else with their cards, and your goal is to beat them 3 times.
So do certain cards have
the cards
more power?
have different values, and certain cards do different things. Like I thought it was funny. I was parked at the Loves down by you, waiting to come here, and I got a Harper Lee card.
Oh, nice!
And what it does is it reduces the power of bird cards to kill a mockingbird. It reduces the power of bird cards in your opponent's deck. So if they're using
trumps a bird card.
if they're using bird cards, it takes away the power of their bird cards.
Oh, I love it. That's clever.
Yeah, and there's all these different like certain cards will affect other cards, but not necessarily in like the same. Like there's one in the Greek. There's like an ancient Greece section I have, and there's a card in there that affects solar system cards. So you make a deck out of these cards, and then you play against somebody else, and whoever gets the most points. And it's really fun, but I'm more into like actually collecting the cards. Like Corey and I just love collecting the cards. And you can say what card you want, and then people hit you up to trade you for that card.
Okay.
So it's a lot of fun. So if our listeners are interested, it is called CUE, standing for Cards, the Universe, and Everything. And if you go on there and you want to friend me, my username is EL-BROOSHA. El Brusha.
Okay.
Which is
I was going to say, there's some significance
an
there.
old Hebrew legendary creature that's a vampire cat.
Oh, okay.
So that is my name on there.
Interesting.
And my little logo picture is an angry looking cat.
Okay.
So my El Brusha is my name on there, EL-Brusha. So friend me on there, and if you want to play a game with me, that'd be cool.
Very cool.
But it's a fun, like the cards are just so cool. You know, like you get a card, like this one is Irish stew. When you tap on it, it flips it over and it tells you like facts on the back.
Did you get a recipe? That'd be nice.
Yeah, some of them do have recipes actually. So
awesome.
It's just a really fun game, and it's cool to collect these cards.
That's cool.
So yeah, giving a shout out to Q Cards.
Cool.
Yep.
I wanted to do some housekeeping to talk about what's going to happen over the break because I want people to be prepared. I don't want anyone to be caught off guard. I've mentioned this before, but I'm going to be migrating our whole episode library to a new platform. So there's going to be a little bit of interruption to being able to listen through apps, but you'll still be able to listen to YouTube. YouTube is totally separate from everything. You upload, Kurt uploads everything to YouTube completely separately from like our website and our RSS feed. I think I'm going to be migrating to Podbean. I think that's what Brad uses. I asked him for some advice. And they support iTunes and RSS feed services, so I think that's going to be a good choice. And it's pretty reasonably priced. There will be like a monthly fee, but it's worth it. So yeah, that's something I'm hoping to work on pretty much right after our last regular episode comes out, which will be December. Was it like the 5th?
Something like, no. Yeah, something around that time. Or the 7th.
Hold on. I'm going to look at the calendar.
Speaking of the next episode, well, I'll wait till she's done.
We're recording the 4th. It will come out the 5th.
Yep.
So in the couple of weeks following that, I want this done before Christmas so that I can just kind of have a break.
And what we're also planning on doing is we have 2 side sessions episodes backed up. So we're going to do, next week will be a side sessions episode. And then we're going to be done for this season.
Yeah, so even our coffee listeners won't have any bonus content while we're off for our break.
Because it'll be our break. And what we're going to do is there's going to be a Christmas Eve episode. You know that.
What?
There will be a Christmas Eve episode. Perhaps. And then because Krista and I don't plan on starting to record again until the very end of January, we're going to release our other side sessions episode in the middle of January, so you guys have that to listen to.
And that's for everyone, right?
And that's for everyone. Yep. No, that's just going to be for everyone. It's going to be like
a little bonus.
It'll be like a break episode. It'll be like a little bonus episode, so you can hear our melodious voices and whatnot.
Yes.
Yeah. So then we're going to do that. So that's the game plan going forward. But that being said, next episode, season finale, listener stories.
Yep.
We've got a couple backed up.
We do.
So if you guys have any listener stories you would like to send to us, please feel free to do so.
And especially if you had sent us one previously that didn't make it in an
remind us
episode,
yeah,
we might have missed one. Yeah, please
it's
send it again.
It's real easy for stuff to get lost between the
especially
cracks.
when we're both accessing the same email.
Yes, and I assume Krista read something. She assumes I read it, and then nobody reads it.
I usually let you handle email.
Yeah.
You usually respond to everybody, so I feel like
but then I feel bad because
Instagram.
you're like, did you see this person's email from last week? And I'm like, oh, no, I didn't.
Yeah, so we try.
We'll get better next season.
Will we?
We'll
have new chairs.
We'll have new chairs.
And a new laptop.
Yeah, so we're good.
We'll be on a new platform. It's going to be a fresh start for
But let's
season
jump
6.
right into our packages.
Okay.
We have 2 packages. The first from
that's my drum
Mr.
roll.
and Mrs. Josh Carpenter.
Yes.
Longtime listeners,
Longtime
longtime friends. Krista's going to open it.
Getting my camera ready. All right. This should be relatively easy for me to open.
You don't need the dagger, ceremonial dagger?
Nope. Look at this. Boom.
Dang.
Boom. Okay.
With a quickness.
There's a couple things in here. Oh my goodness.
as soon
I'm already like,
as, soon
oh
as
my
I see
goodness.
her eyes light up and go, oh my goodness, I know she's looking at something
It's like
cool.
a little Sasquatch.
It's cool.
Cast.
That's
footprint.
cool.
How adorable is that? Okay. There's a little note.
That is so cool.
Don't drop it.
I'm not going to drop it.
Look how cute that is. Okay, I got to take a picture. The lighting down here.
You need to put your keys on there.
I'd be afraid to put this. No, I'd be afraid this would break unless it's made out of plastic.
Hang it in your car.
This is so adorable. So now I have to read the little note. If I can, because I don't have glasses on. Dear Kurt and Krista, once again, we were somewhere we had to send you a souvenir from.
Aw.
This time it was the International Cryptozoology Museum in Portland, Maine. Just, right? Yeah.
I think Jamie had been there.
Just a couple little things to add to your collection. Stay strange, Josh and Whitney. P.S. Looked for Moxie. No Moxie.
Oh,
so they also
Moxie.
sent us a little pen.
That is awesome.
It says International Cryptozoology Museum.
That is
Love
so
it.
cool. Thank you so much, you guys. Seriously, for even thinking of us when you went there, because I would be amazed at that
This
place.
is like the cutest, though.
yeah,
I'm gonna have to,
Krista's gonna.
it's either gonna go in our little
Krista's
carry-all.
obsessed with the
It's so
Bigfoot cast
adorable.
keychain.
It's like a little baby Bigfoot.
It's like a little baby Bigfoot foot.
I love it. Okay.
Thank you so much,
Yes,
guys.
Thank you guys. That's amazing.
And our next package from longtime listener, longtime friend, Tom Napier.
Okay, hold on. Oh my gosh.
This is a big box, so we have no idea what this is.
I've run out of table space. Okay.
No dagger?
No. I think I got
Krista just
this.
tears it.
I'm just muscling it open. See some kind of not bubble wrap. They don't use bubble wrap anymore. Have you noticed that?
No.
It's this stuff.
Yeah, like the air pockets.
Oh, what is this? Okay. Ooh. It's a Mothman figurine.
This is cool.
That is really cool. I don't know what this is.
This is so cool.
There's something else in here that I don't know what it is. Unless this is... What do you think this is?
I don't. That's another. Is that a picture or something?
It says, how art thou?
It's art.
Ooh, look at easy open tabs. That is so cool. That
this is
Mothman, he's
definitely going on our hutch.
Yes, in our hutch. Thank you, Tom.
This is cool.
That's really cool. I have to take a picture of that.
We love our Mothman.
What is this all about? Okay, I'm
It's
trying
gonna
to
be some
very
kind of
gentle.
art.
What?
It is something that we desperately need on our wall down here.
Okay.
You ready?
You gonna show me? Do the big reveal.
You ready?
Yeah, and then I'll take a picture. Oh, that's awesome. I want to believe.
That's our X-Files
I
poster.
do believe. That's awesome.
This is so cool. And I've wanted one of these down here.
So
Since
we
like
have
the
to
start
figure out
of
how
us
to hang
recording,
that.
I've wanted one of these for us. This is awesome. Tom, thank you so much. I have wanted one of these from the start, and I think I've mentioned in an earlier episode I wanted the X-Files I Want to Believe poster for here.
Really cool. That's awesome.
That is awesome. Then just in time for Krista to redecorate down
Totally.
here over
I'm
the
gonna keep
holidays.
it covered up with this for now.
I
I'm actually
would-
going to put it back in the envelope for now.
That's going to be perfect.
Yes. It will have a feature spot.
Thank you so much, Tom,
you,
and thank
Tom.
you so much, Carpenters. That is awesome.
Okay, I'm going to put Mothman in the cabinet right now just so that he stays safe.
Thank you guys so much. These are all such awesome gifts.
Awesome. Okay, are we doing the taste test?
Yes. You
Yes,
ready?
sorry, last episode we didn't have a taste test.
First
for you.
taste test is all you. You can only do one of them or whatever you want.
So this is me.
Hazelnuts.
Oh, ooh, I'm excited.
I figured you would be.
I should probably end with this one because you know the other one's probably going to be gross. Did you pull the other one out of the Mexico bag?
Oh yeah, it's in my pocket.
All right.
I still.
Cuba
This might.
or we had those here.
Yeah, those
I'm
are
gonna
good.
try the one we don't have. Yeah, they are. How have
I
you eaten
tried.
this?
I tried part of one before I realized there was hazelnut in it.
I'm gonna try this one. It's called Cuba.
I got that, I think, thinking it was
eating Cuba.
peanut butter, so I took a bite out of it, and I was like,
Oh.
that's not peanut butter, and I looked at the envelope, but it didn't hurt me, so I don't know
That's
if I
good.
didn't get hazelnut cream in that one.
Were you
Cuba.
tested for allergies, or did you just have a
I
reaction?
just know. I just
Okay.
know.
All right, Cuba. Like I said, I'm eating Cuba right now. Thanks, Cuba. Ooh,
Cuba looks
It
good.
does look good. This reminds me of Caddyshack. Duty. Okay, ready? I keep going the wrong way. Okay. here we
That's
go.
going to be good. That's
Uh-huh.
got to be good.
It's so good.
It looks like
Mm.
really chocolatey. Mm-hmm. And are there pieces of hazelnut in there?
Really small. There's just a tiny bit of crunch. It reminds me of like Cerugis.
Cerugis are
How they're
good.
it's
Yes.
so creamy.
Yes.
Mm,
Yep.
This is amazing. The hazelnut flavor is actually really strong. It's delicious. 10 out of 10. It says crunchy. It's not super crunchy, but I don't mind
It
that.
looks
It's really
good. I'm a
smooth.
little
It's
jealous
amazing.
that I'm allergic to hazelnuts right now. You ready for the next
I'll
one?
save this one for a future one. Yeah, I'm ready. Maybe.
I don't know about this one.
10
here.
out of 10. Thank you. Who sent us these beads?
That is from Beads from Norway.
Okay. Thank you, beads.
Ready for our Mexican one?
No. Just being honest. What the heck is that?
No idea what this is. We might have to
Oh,
put it on
man.
our fingers and lick it off our own fingers, not each other's.
Okay. It's not that
Unless
kind
you
of
want to
show,
get weird.
people.
Unless you want to get weird.
That's for a side session.
That's
I can't see what I'm doing. Hold on. I'm trying to get a picture of whatever this is.
That's for our late night unedited sexy sections.
Our sexy side session. Okay.
I literally don't know what that is. It looks like
yeah.
a syringe.
Okay, after we ran out of camera battery, we're just continuing with the taste test in audio. So I'm unwrapping this.
Testing.
Thing.
1, 2. It looks like a little syringe.
Did you turn that mic off?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what to do with this. Do I take this off? Oh God.
It looks like a syringe, and then I think the goop is going to come out the end thing.
Okay, so how the hell do you get this off?
Did you take a
Oh,
picture of it?
Wait. Oh.
Oh.
I got it on my hand.
No, because
I'm
that's
not
going to have
gonna
to
taste
squeeze
it.
through the top, so that top needs to be on.
Oh, do you think so?
Yeah, take a picture of that.
You think it's going to come out the top of that?
Let me see.
Do you think there's a hole there? That's what she said.
No, there is no hole there.
No, I think it comes out here.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to
So you're supposed to lick that. I think you're supposed to lick it.
That. I'll put it on my finger, though. God, this is like an ant colony waiting to happen. Okay,
It is. Here, hang on. I got to get a picture of you with that.
Oh, God. I'm afraid. Ready? I can't get it to...
Ready? Smile.
I literally can't get this to move.
As soon as you push down, it's going to like squirt all over the table.
It's really slow. Okay. I'm just going to wipe some of it on my finger.
That's what I'm going to do.
Gross. Everything smells like figs. Why is that?
Why is this so hard to move?
Well, it's been in there
go.
a while, so...
Oh, its consistency is even nasty.
I don't even, like, do I take a picture of my finger? No, I'm not doing that. That's gross.
Sure, my finger. So you're supposed to just, like, push the syringe up and then, like, lick this off the top.
Yeah.
But all I'm doing is, like, moving it all around the top. Come on.
I could probably lay some tile with that. Okay, you ready?
I am ready. Oh, it does smell like figs. It tastes like figs.
Everything has that same note to it. You know what I'm talking about? This is fruity. It's tart.
I'm not getting any spice, at
I'm
least.
making the face. No, it's not spicy.
I sort of like this.
It has that note, though, that is in every single one of the candies we've tried. That I keep
Are you
calling
okay
it
with me licking
tomatoey.
it, like, eating
No,
this?
you can have it.
I'll be licking it this episode.
It's hard to explain what it is, but it's a common theme through all of the candy.
It doesn't lick easily.
I keep wanting to say
I thought it would, like, lick off of there easily.
Yeah, it's... Not my hands,
I like
my
this.
hands are all sticky now.
I actually like this.
It's okay. I'll give it, like, a 5. It's not my kind of thing, but it's not as offensive as all the other stuff.
I'm going to give it a 9 because I genuinely like this.
It's just so odd. Would you, like, spread it on a cracker or something? I feel like that would be
No, I think
a better
you're
way
just supposed
to
to
eat it.
lick it off the plastic top.
I want another bite of
But it doesn't lick
hazelnut.
good. Like, I lick, I put my tongue on there and all it does is, like, push it around. It
moves
doesn't
it
lick
around.
it.
Mm-hmm. My candy bar is delicious, though.
Oh, my tongue is getting a workout.
Alrighty, then.
Yeah,
Wow. And your arms, apparently.
because it doesn't push out easily. I like this. Pleasantly surprised.
Is this the first one you've liked? No, I think we've had one good one, right?
Uh-huh.
Maybe one good one.
I want to be.
They're very creative in,
They're packaging.
yeah, the delivery of the goodie.
The delivery of the goodie.
Although the word goodie is...
I am going to be sucking on that and licking that this whole episode.
Oh,
As
boy.
long as everybody's okay with it. Are
Okay,
we
hold-
ready?
Hold on one second.
Ready to jump into our episode?
Let's do it.
I'm hoping our intro, our titillating 20, didn't become a thunderous 30,
I don't think so.
but we're going to see. So, today's topic is a Missing 411 spotlight episode on Stacy Arras.
Woot woot.
Or
Did somebody
Arras.
suggest this one?
A while ago,
Okay.
yeah. I don't know if it's Arras. I still couldn't because the podcast I listened to, everybody pronounced it differently. But I'm going to say
course.
Stacy Arras because
Arras.
it's
How's it spelled?
Arras.
Aris.
But
yeah,
this
that's
is
how I would say it.
This episode is going to be kind of a jumble because there's not a lot about Stacy's disappearance. So we're going to talk about her disappearance, the tie-in with Missing 411,
Okay.
and then just general Yosemite weirdness and paranormal stuff there.
Okay.
Does that sound cool?
Sounds cool.
We're going to start our main story with a couple facts about Yosemite National Park in California. Fact number 1, it is
Big.
big. It is
Oh, really? I was just guessing.
1,168.681 square miles.
Jeez.
Yeah. 747,956 acres.
I was going to ask if you had the acreage because
Yeah.
I'm good at thinking in acreage. Wow.
Yeah. 747,000 acres.
Dang.
That's a big old park.
That's big.
Fun fact number 2.
What part of California is it? Is it like northern,
I'm
southern?
not sure. I think smack dab in the middle, maybe.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Fact number 2, the whole park has over 800 miles of trails.
Damn.
It's a lot of
You get a workout in
It's a lot of
there.
trailage.
It is.
And fun fact number 3, it draws in around 4 to 5 million visitors every year.
Year?
Every year.
Wow.
That is insane.
Probably locals combined with tourists.
And looking this up during this episode, I like badly want to visit there. It looks so amazing.
I've never been to a national
I
park.
feel like Jennifer, the one Jen that sent us the good chocolates,
Oh, yeah,
I think
yeah.
she went there a couple
Okay.
months ago. It just looks amazing there. I'm like so badly want to go there and see it now.
They have like the huge redwoods there,
yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes, the sequoias, like the
too.
giant sequoias. So I am going to admit that a majority of this episode came from, it's being like directly coming from articles.
Oh, okay.
Because I just basically didn't have time. So I took a lot of stuff from articles.
That's okay. As long as you give him credit,
Yes.
I'm cool with it.
So a lot of this comes from an awesome October 27th, 2017 article on strangeoutdoors.com called, quote, The Bizarre Disappearance of Stacy Arras from Yosemite National Park. Going to start with a discrepancy here because every single source that I looked at had a different start date.
Okay.
And that's one of the problems with this case is that there's not a lot
The timeline's
of
not
concrete stuff. But
Okay.
the one that I saw most often, on July 17th, 1981, 14-year-old Stacy Arras was on a horseback riding trip with her father, George, and 6 other people in Yosemite National Park in California. After riding, they stopped at a group of cabins at Sunrise High Sierra Camp, which is around 3 miles southeast of Tenaya Lake and 1.5 miles from Sunrise Lakes. The group was going to rest and freshen up after the ride, and they planned on staying the night at the camp. Sunrise Camp is the last group of cabins on the 50-mile-long High Sierra Camp Loop. 9 cabins provide beds for 34 guests, and it sits in an alpine meadow facing Mount Florence and Mount Clark. It looks gorgeous. Like, I saw pictures from the place.
So how many people were in her group? Did you say that?
That was another thing that I didn't get a lot of concrete information on. 6. I see 6.
Okay.
I see 7. I see 8. I see 5.
Okay.
So I
Facts
said
are a
6.
little fuzzy on
I
this
said
one?
6. Yes,
Okay.
facts are fuzzy on this one. So they were basically out there in the park doing on a horseback riding trip, and they had this campground
Where they were going to spend
yeah,
the night.
the Sunrise High Sierra Camp,
Okay.
where they were going to stay for the night. And the pictures of like where it is, it just looks amazingly
Stunning.
beautiful. Yep. Stacy took a shower and changed her clothes and left the cabin that she had been in. Her dad was outside, and an older member of the group named Gerald Stewart, who is 70 to 77 years old, depending on what source you look at, but he's in
boy.
his mid to late 70s.
Okay.
Yeah, Gerald Stewart was sitting on a boulder about 100 feet away from the cabins. Stacy told her dad that she was going to head over to where Gerald was sitting and then head out onto the nearby trail to take some pictures of the view. She asked her dad if he wanted to come with her, and her dad declined.
Oh,
I
he's
know.
probably kicking himself.
I know. I
and
cannot
regretting that.
imagine.
No.
Always wondering
Having
how
that
things would have been
opportunity.
different
Right.
if he would have said yes. So he said he declined. He said he just wanted to rest and get stuff ready. And he told her that maybe she should change from her flip-flops to hiking boots if she was going to go out on the trails. It was the last time he ever spoke with her. And this stuff hits me so hard because my eighth graders from last year that have moved up to Lincoln that I was friends with, Samantha, Logan, Cadence, are 14. So this kills me to think of this happening to them at that age because she was 14 years old when she disappeared. So yeah, it's hard. So everybody that was outside witnessed her walking over to the boulder where Gerald was sitting, and she snapped a couple pictures. She told Gerald that she was going to take a walk to a nearby lake or a body of water. This was either a few hundred yards to the flooded lower long meadow or the longer walk to Sunrise Lakes, which was 1.5 miles away. They don't know where she was going, but this becomes, we're going to get to this later, but this is kind of a discrepancy too. And she said she was going to head off to a body of water to take some more pictures, and then he offered to accompany her. After a little while of walking down the hill, Gerald felt tired and sat down and said he was just going to stay. Stacy said she was going to scout ahead and that she'd be right back in a minute. Gerald and several others at the camp watched Stacy walk into a path behind some trees. The guide who led the ride to Sunrise Camp was working at the corral and noticed Stacy standing on a rock about 50 yards south of the trail, just kind of looking around to get her bearings, apparently. And that guide was the last person to see Stacy. She got off the rock and then went off. And
So how far was she from camp by then?
it was pretty far. Like I saw pictures, a picture of the camp with like the trees in the background, and it was pretty far from the camp.
Okay.
But the guide was there doing something at the corral and saw her. She headed off on the trail behind some trees, and then he saw her get up on a rock and like kind of look around Like she was getting her bearings and got
We're
off.
looking for a good vantage point to
Yeah,
take pictures,
yeah.
whatever.
So she got off the rock, and that was the last time anybody saw her.
Okay.
After a while, when Stacy didn't return, Gerald got concerned and returned back towards the cabin area and gathered the group to go look for her. They took the trail back and forth to the lake but didn't see her, so the group contacted the park rangers, who then summoned search and rescue. Gerald told park officials that he had spoken to a group of people coming from the direction that Stacy had taken, but none of them had seen her, which is weird.
Yeah.
A huge search involving up to 150 people, including 67 Mountain Rescue Association volunteers and sniffer dogs, were deployed over 10 days. They concentrated on a 3 to 5 square mile area around Sunrise Lakes. 3 helicopters were also used in the search, with the park's own chopper being in the air for over 40 hours. The only thing ever found was the lens cap from Stacy's camera sitting in a meadow just inside the tree line from where she was last seen. And that's
strange.
That is strange.
Just the lens cap.
Just the
nothing
lens
else.
cap in a meadow that was near where she last disappeared. And lens caps, like I don't know enough about photography. Are lens caps fastened to the camera?
That one is.
Yeah, but some aren't.
Yes
and I know
no.
lens caps get
Yeah,
lost
yes
a
and no.
lot.
Mm-hmm.
But it's weird that her lens cap was there in that meadow.
And was there any evidence that she had walked through there? Like,
No,
was
not
the
that
ground
I'm aware of.
around it?
Not that I'm aware of. So when she vanished, Stacy was wearing an off-white hooded pullover windbreaker with a horizontal zipper front pouch, a tight-fitting white jersey blouse edged with quarter-inch white lace, pull-on shorts with intermittent vertical sky blue pinstripes and half-inch maroon and white stripes, size 8.5 or 9 gray hiking boots with rubber Vibram soles.
Oh, so she took the flip-flops off.
Yeah.
Okay.
A gold double-wrapped ankle bracelet and possibly blue round studded earrings. She had been carrying binoculars, a small Olympus camera with a multicolored embroidered neck strap, and possibly chewing gum and cigarettes, because she was a smoker.
What year was this?
1981.
Okay.
There's a lot of discrepancies if she had cigarettes with her. If she had cigarettes with her, that's probably a good thing, because then she would have had like a source of fire.
Mm-hmm.
Like if she would have froze. If it would have been cold at night, she probably would have had something to start a fire with. And sadly, one of her most identifying features were her braces, which will ultimately help if they find her skull somewhere, which sucks to think about. It sucks to think about that right now. Her braces might be out there somewhere. I don't know. That for some reason, that really bothers me. That really gets to me, that like finding a skull with braces.
Well, and it speaks to like her age too. I mean, I know adults get braces, but
she was 14.
Right.
She's
a child.
Yeah. Yeah. So the park's then superintendent, Robert Binoweiss, told the Fresno Bee that, quote, she just seems to have up and disappeared. And this disappearance set the ball rolling for what would become known as Missing 411. In 2011, we talk about him quite a bit, David Paulides submitted a Freedom of Information Act request to the National Park Service for Stacy's case file. According to a March 30th, 2021 article on Mysterious Universe called, quote, The Bizarre Vanishing of Stacy Arras, Paulides himself says, quote, so there was essentially nothing about that case for 25, 30 years. I made a request on it through Yosemite for the Freedom of Information Act to get a copy of the report. A special agent for the Park Service named Yu called me and asked me why I wanted the report. I explained that we were doing some research on search and rescue, and we were specifically looking into people who disappeared at Yosemite, and we wanted to see what was in the report, and he said there was nothing there. And I said, well, are there any suspects? Is it a criminal case? He said, nope, it's a missing persons case. I said, has anybody looked at it in the past 10 or 20 years? He said, not that I can think of. And I said, so there's no,
sad.
I said, so there's no suspects. There's no work being done on the case. She hasn't been found. He said, correct. And I said, okay, well, could you send me a copy of the case? And he said, nope. I said, why not? He says, because it's an open case and you'll never see it. And I said, but we've gotten dozens and dozens of missing persons cases from the Park Service. Why not this case? He just repeated, you'll never see it. And I said, what do you mean I'm not going to get it? It's an open missing persons case. Any criminal elements? He said, nope. I said, are there any suspects? He said, nope. I said, well, why won't you give it to me then? And he says, well, we never give away these cases. I said, wait a minute. I have dozens and dozens of these cases from your agency all over the U.S. He said, no, you don't. I said, yes, I do. And we got into this talk. He challenges me. He's rude. He says right from the get-go that I'm never going to get this, and so far he's right. And we got off the phone. I went to my local congressman, Ian Campbell. I appealed through him. His representative in Washington, D.C. went and met with the representative from the Department of the Interior, and I got an answer back from him saying that they won't release the case.
Wow.
The family of Stacy got a hold of me. They publicly asked for the case. It was denied. They made an appeal through the Park Service so the family could read the case, and this has dragged on for 2 or 3 years, and they still have not seen the case. So what happened to Stacy? I don't really know. But according to the Freedom of Information Act, and what the law is intended to do is give us access to information that our government has. This is not a criminal case, and there are no suspects. There's no crime that is thought to have occurred. But nobody can explain to me or her family why we can't see that case.
Because I think there must be information in there that would lead to suspects or a criminal case, but they're covering it up. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
That's suspicious.
But yeah, they stated that it was part of an ongoing investigation, but Politi said that her case hadn't been looked at in 25 years.
Poor family.
So I don't know.
Hey, nobody's working on this, you know?
It just makes no sense to me.
No, it doesn't.
I saw a couple people theorize that they maybe think a park ranger was killing people, and this is either to protect him or, they obviously don't want
that would stop visitors
tourism
to their park.
would go down the toilet if there was a
serial killer
like
on
a
the
ranger
list.
Was killing people, but that would have come out at some point, you think?
You would think.
But it's just weird. Like I don't know. But that's kind of what started the ball rolling on the missing 411 cases.
Or it's a Bigfoot situation and they don't want to scare the public.
That's very possible too. There have been other weird
Never thought of Bigfoot as a serial killer, but
it's possible. There have been other disappearances in that general area. That's what David Politis has his map clusters.
Mm-hmm.
So there's been a couple in that area. There was Stacy in 1981, and I'll just read it. Stacy was a 14-year-old girl on a horseback riding trip with her father and several other friends at Yosemite National Park. What was likely a picturesque and enjoyable ride over the stunning wilderness of Yosemite became a nightmare for the Arras family. After arriving at the Sunrise High Sierra camp, Stacy cleaned up, decided to take a walk. She asked both her father and another member of the party to join her, but her father denied her and the other member only walked for a little bit. She made it clear that her walk was only down to a nearby lake in order to take some photographs and stretch her legs. The lake was nearby within earshot of the site, and the area was not known for any instances of animal predation. Thus, her father likely thought little of his daughter's actions. However, once she embarked on her short walk, Stacy was never seen again. After a comprehensive and thorough search lasting 9 days with over 100 people, sniffer dogs, and helicopters, nothing more than the lens cap of her camera was ever found.
Sniffer dogs.
Sniffer dogs.
That's cute.
But going back in early August of 1868, going back in early August of 1968, a man's body turned up in a crevasse located within Tenure Peak. This is a site not far from the Sunrise High Sierra camp and the lake where Stacy disappeared. This man has never been identified, but analysis of his body was never able to determine the cause of death. Incredibly, obvious signs such as blunt force trauma or multiple broken bones that might prove a fall to his death in the gorge were not present. So they found this body in 1968 in a crevasse. No idea how he got there, no idea who it is. They still don't know who this person is. And in 1976, little more than a mile away from the gorge where the body of the mystery man turned up, 25-year-old Jeff Estes disappeared. Even after official search efforts, as well as the effort of family and friends, not a shred of evidence was ever found, and he was never heard from. And in 1988, in mid-July, slightly northeast from the site where the mystery man's body was discovered 20 years earlier, Timothy Barnes vanished. Similar to the Jeff Estes case, even after meticulous search efforts, not a shred of evidence ever surfaced.
So these all took place in the 80s.
Yeah, in this area, in this little area that is
does
just
kind of speak to like a serial killer.
Yeah, and if you were a serial killer and wanted some place where you could collect people and do God knows what to them,
park. Yeah,
a national park, a state park, any of those places,
endless places to hide people.
Yeah, but that makes me think. Well, Jeff Estes was in 1976.
So, but like a kind of like a 10 to 15-year period.
Yeah,
That's,
'cause
that's a reasonable
Jeff
time
Estes
period.
was in 1976, Stacy was in 1981, and Timothy Barnes was in 1988. And if you're a serial killer,
That's, unless that
it's
serial
very
killer
possible.
was old
but
when it started.
like you said, that's what kind of I go towards with this whole fact that they refuse to give out. But then,
there's something
but then
in
what
there
is in there?
that could
If they never
point
found
to
her body,
something.
is there some kind of other evidence they found?
Right.
Like, this one's puzzling to me. Like, I don't understand why they're so hesitant to give out the details of what happened to
And
Stacy.
weird about it.
Yeah.
You'll never see it. You
Yeah.
don't have any other files. Like, that's weird.
Yeah, it's super weird. But unfortunately, there's not a lot more to this.
And nothing was found on the lens cap. Like, there was nothing.
Not that I found, but again, one of the problems I came into with this is
Not a lot of detail or conflicting
details are
information.
conflicting.
Yeah.
But we'll get into this. I got theories right now.
Okay.
Theory number one, and this a lot of people believe this is the most likely. Theory number one, she got lost and disoriented. Reddit user Hector Abaya says, quote, Stacy's disappearance is tragic, but not particularly atypical. It's a pretty common scenario. She left the group and was exploring alone, off trail, which is dangerous if you aren't carrying navigation tools and experienced in using them. She was also likely distracted, paying more attention to photography than to navigation. It happens to everyone, so that's not a criticism of her, and it usually isn't a big deal, but then sometimes it is. The search was fairly small relative to the size of the area they had to work with, and it's likely she kept moving even once she realized she was lost, because the majority of victims do. But it's the absolute worst thing to do in almost every case, because the searchers are then trying to play catch up without even knowing where the victim is headed. Mm-hmm. So we're guessing and trying to catch up. Victims who keep moving run the risk of crossing back into areas that have already been searched. Most searches try to control for that by researching likely areas, but it depends on the case, and it still doesn't mean we'll research the right area. Mm-hmm. With Stacy, a point I see brought up fairly often is that she was within shouting distance, but I don't think there's a way to prove that. Sound in the wilderness is weird. I spent a ton of time hiding from searchers as a training subject, and even I'm still surprised at how variable sound can be. I've had searchers shouting for me from maybe 50 feet away who I couldn't hear because of a slight ridge and wind blowing away from me. On the other hand, I've been freaked out by hearing a dog panting and human voices just above me when I knew the team wasn't even close to me yet, because I was hiding on the edge of a canyon and there was a weird magnifying/echo effect. Usually the trend is for sound to be dampened though. Even a bit of vegetation, a small hill, and a slight breeze you barely notice are enough to muffle sound to a surprising degree. I also think people just underestimate how easy it is to get lost out there, and that's something that I don't have any idea about, because
especially once you go off trail though.
Yeah.
Everything starts to look the same.
Yeah. Like I have not spent enough time in even state parks too.
Like I think I imagine going off trail just a few feet, but if there's enough vegetation around that you can't see the trail anymore and you turn around a couple times just looking
You're
around,
lost.
you
Yeah.
can quickly forget what direction you came from.
Yep.
Ugh.
Yeah, so then he goes on to say, I basically grew up in the wilderness because my dad is crazy about it. I was hiking before I could walk because he rigged up baby carriers to his hiking pack. Huh. We still go on week-long backpacking trips at least once a year, and it's a running joke to us that the car is just, quote, over that ridge when we're in the middle of nowhere and are getting tired. And that joke didn't come out of nowhere. We've both done search and rescue, and it's an extremely common lost hiker scenario. Plus, we've also gotten into mild trouble due to that idea. The Arras, I don't know if it's Arras or Arras. I always feel like it's Arras. The Arras case is a tragedy, and my heart breaks for that kid, but it's fairly typical missing hiker case. The only thing that's unusual is that she wasn't found, but it happens. Searchers are basically looking for a needle in a haystack and usually find that needle. Sometimes they don't, but that doesn't mean supernatural influences were involved, especially in a situation like this where the search was fairly small relative to the size of the land.
How long was she gone before they started looking for her?
Just like I'm going to say less than an hour,
I mean,
hour,
she couldn't
2
have
hours.
gotten that far away, so you would think that the radius and a direction of what they were looking, the area. I mean, it's not like she was gone 8 hours and they're like,
No.
oh, let's start looking.
But then did she leave the trail? Because there was a trail. But I get conflicting reports on how the trail is. Like in my head, I see a nice smooth trail. But then I'm reading like other stuff where people said it's really not
could be
that
full
kind
of
of trail.
tree roots.
Yeah,
and
it's really not
rocks
that kind of trail. So I don't know. Another Reddit user named Persimmon Pluot no idea, says, quote, I lived and worked in the park for several summers and grew up in the region. I know the area pretty well, and the official description of where she went missing makes no sense. Purportedly, the group arrived at the Sunrise Camp where they planned to stay in some of the cabins. We are told Stacy left to photograph the lake, which is said to be in sight of the cabins. There is no lake in sight of the cabins. It would have been a very long hike to reach a lake, so that discrepancy is odd. That fact changes things a lot. If she set out to really photograph a lake, then there was a lot of distance and space that could have been accounted for with her disappearance.
Yeah, and if she had no idea really how far it was.
There are many crevices and spots where she could have possibly fallen, and crevices can conceal a body forever. However, not knowing where she went makes it difficult to guess.
Was there like a fork in the trail or something at some
point?
point?
I don't think so, but I don't know. I couldn't really get a lock on this trail. A website called ActiveMissingPeople.com had an article called, quote, Stacy Arras, missing backpacker continues to confound investigators, and the article said, quote, investigators and backpackers alike feel that Stacy may have simply gotten lost by a series of innocuous mistakes that all added up. Outdoor enthusiasts have noted that people often don't realize when decisions they've made have landed them in a survival situation. In Stacy's case, she left out for a short hike near dark and didn't bring any emergency supplies or a flare. After taking pictures at the lakes, it's very possible she got turned around on the trail. Backpackers familiar with the area have noted that the short sight lines of the lake region, as well as the 3 nearly identical Sunrise Lakes, and the similar heading and topography of the trail in both directions, make it very easy to get turned around. As such, Stacy's most likely fate, tragically, is that she got lost on the Sunrise Trail and inadvertently found her way to the cliffs of Cloud's Rest or Tenaya Creek, both of which are incredibly sheer drops of thousands of feet. If she stumbled in the dark over one of these drops, her body would likely never be found. The remote regions at the bottoms of these cliffs are treacherous and deadly and frequented by scavengers.
Did they check the lake?
Yes. Yeah, they had divers out there checking the lake and everything. So that
if she made it to the lake,
yeah,
we have no idea.
That is theory number 1. She got lost and disoriented and ended up falling off a cliff or in a crevasse or somewhere. Theory number 2, abducted. And that's where we come with her serial killer. There was like one of the Reddit things I looked at about this. There were people going back and forth saying this is like kind of a out of the way area. Is a serial killer?
Is there a road nearby?
I don't think very nearby. And it's like, is there a serial killer just going to hang out there and just happen to be there when she comes around the corner of the trail? I mean, it could happen.
I mean, it could be just serial killers sometimes are opportunistic, you know.
Yeah.
It's not like they plan it.
But no, and if it was a park ranger, he has a reason to be out there.
Right.
And he might have seen them up there and like waited till somebody came on the trail.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
What if it was the one who saw her?
Who?
You said that there was a ranger or somebody who saw her on a rock.
Oh no, that was the guide. But he never left because they all stayed at the camp.
Oh, okay.
He was one of the guy. He was the guide at the camp that guided them on the horsebacks there. Okay. So it was not him, and it wasn't that. A lot of people are like casting suspicion on that Gerald guy who's like in his 70s.
The old guy who couldn't do the whole hike.
Yeah, like he's not going to kill her and dispose of her body.
Right.
So a serial killer, possibly, but as far as being abducted, I don't think you can just drag somebody out of that far out in the wilderness. You know,
unless you're taking them somewhere else in the wilderness.
Yeah.
You have like a hidey hole where you take your,
which
he
could.
Sure.
I was reading like stuff about Yosemite and people said that they've gone off trail and found cabins in the middle of nowhere and there's nothing in there but like a rusty bed spring bed with no mattress and cans and stuff. And it's like, I don't know, maybe
sure
it's possible. Other people suggest feral woods people or meth addicts. Back in the 80s. I don't know if we even have meth in the 80s. But, you know,
did they live in the middle of national
woods
parks?
Feral woods. There, you'd be surprised. There's a lot of like pot growing operations that go on in the middle of national parks that nobody knows about.
But meth? I don't know.
I'm not big into the drug culture, so I
feel
don't
like
know what
this
was.
is not a good theory.
I don't know what was around in the 80s.
I have no idea.
We had Jolt Cola. I remember that, but that's about
cocaine.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what was happening in the middle of the woods. So
feral woods people or drug addicts, I don't know. Serial killer possibly, but I just
Bigfoot's
feel
not one of your theories.
Poor research, possibly. So theory number 2, abducted or killed, serial killer. Theory number 3 that a lot of people come up with, she ran away. And people say that's super unlikely. you're on horseback. I mean, if you wanted to get away, you could have got away at any point. You're not going to come out here into the middle of the wilderness.
Right.
And her dad is the one that suggested she changes out of her flip-flops and puts on hiking boots. So if she wanted to have taken off on the trail, she would have been wearing her hiking boots to start with, not her flip-flops.
Well, and I feel like this family would have had some kind of clue.
Yeah.
Kids don't just run away out of nowhere. Usually there's some kind of clues
and
leading up to that.
There's like, I couldn't nail any down, but there's miscellaneous reports of people seeing her like working at a restaurant supposedly like months after, but she had the Farrah Fawcett hair, the blonde hair. She looked like...
Who didn't at that time?
Yeah, exactly. Did you ever see a picture of her?
No.
But she looks like your typical late 70s, early 80s girl, where you're not going to be able to really
differentiate her from any other girl at that time. No. Oh, she's cute.
She is cute.
No, she looks like every other girl
at
that time.
So I don't think she ran away. I'm going to that one because that always comes up in these cases, that it's somebody wanting to, but why, if you're going to start a new life or whatever, I suppose getting lost in the woods is a good excuse why you're dead.
She would have had to have that whole thing planned.
And they said she's 14 years old. She's not going to, I'm going to just poo-poo ran away. She did not run away.
It wouldn't have been spontaneous, I hope.
Yeah. So theory number 4, animal attack. But this is also kind of because black bears don't really attack people in that park.
Are there big cats?
There has never been a reported human death by black bear in Yosemite National Park, ever. Cats, I don't know. But the thing about this is there would have been screaming.
Sure.
There would have been blood and remains.
Yeah.
And nobody found any blood anywhere or anything unless she got
unless there
off
was
trail.
Intelligent.
Yeah. You're
Wink,
really going
wink.
for Bigfoot, aren't you? Unless she got off trail and a big cat killed her. But
I would think the sniffer dogs would have been on that trail.
Exactly. And the sniffer dogs, it sounds like, didn't really get a good grasp on her scent. So I'm not buying animal attack. I didn't know that there's never been a reported human death by black bear.
Yeah.
And they said that bears in the park just kind of generally are used to people being there, and they don't really bug them a whole lot.
And if the people don't bug the bears, that's probably the key.
Yeah. So that's theory number 4, animal attack. I'm going to that one too.
Yeah.
And lastly, theory number 5, paranormal/weird. And this is when you get into the missing 411 stuff. Satanic serial killers, UFOs, Bigfoot, or government experiment.
But what about her case points to those things? You know what I mean? Like some of the elements that are missing are like the weird stuff that's in the missing. Like, her boots weren't found lined up somewhere weird and neat.
Or somebody turns around and they're there 1 second and all of a sudden they're gone.
It's missing some of those key missing 411 elements, but it's odd that she was never found, in my opinion, because I don't think she could have gotten far in like an hour. But if that's how long she was gone before they started looking for her.
But then it also kind of ties into the whole cluster of people that disappeared there.
Yeah.
So is that a killer at work? Is that something paranormal at work? Like, we've talked about all these on here, and if there's time, I'm going to read a story later. But I'm fascinated by this whole cloaked figures thing. Like, we talked about this in an episode in a missing 411 episode where somebody says they think it's a government thing that they have cloaking devices.
Technology. Okay.
But I have a story.
I thought you meant like a figure wearing a dark cloak, which is creepy.
I kind of have both of those stories later. So I have 2 stories I'm going to read at the end just in case we got time to kill.
Okay.
Because that's basically all I have for her. There's not a lot.
I feel like it was either...
But this is one of the granddaddies of the missing 411 cases, because this is what kind of got the ball rolling, where he's like, where Dave Politis is like, they're keeping something back from us.
Something not right about it. That's weird, that they won't release the case file.
But what do you think happened to her? Which of those theories do you think?
As much as I want to say Bigfoot, I go with either just a bad... set of circumstances. It's a perfect storm for her to just get lost, get injured, never found, or because of the other people in that time frame in that area, serial killer. Yeah. Those are I'm leaning towards those. I don't think she ran away.
No,
I don't think it was an animal attack. And as much as I want to blame Bigfoot, I don't think I can in this scenario. Although it could explain why she was never found.
Yeah, totally. I'm going to go with lost, that she just got lost. But especially that person that's familiar with that area said the trails kind of look the same, and it's easy to go to the lake and then take the wrong trail back. And
Had
all
they
of a
ever
sudden,
been there before?
I don't know. I don't know.
That would be good to know.
Yeah. but it's easy to get lost. And then, but do you think, would she have just taken off into the woods? Would she have stayed on the trail? If she had cigarettes, she probably had matches or a lighter where she would have been okay staying overnight.
Did they do hiking trips like this before or camping
Yeah, I
trips?
believe so. Because
it feels like she would have known better.
Yeah.
Kurt's still eating the candy.
I'm still licking my Mexican candy.
We cannot leave any of that down here. We're going to have ants again.
So I don't know if she'd been, but it's, if they've done this trip, so I'm assuming they've done this before. They knew the area, it sounds like. So she wanted to go. I don't know. I think she got lost. I think she took a wrong trail, panicked, maybe went off and thinking that she saw the camp and then went into the woods, and her remains are out there somewhere.
So where in reference to the camp was the lens cap found?
That I could not get a grasp on.
But it
just
was
said
found
in a meadow.
In a meadow. Off trail
in a meadow near where she was last seen.
A bird,
which is weird
a bird
because
could have picked it up and dropped it there.
A lot of people said that almost makes it sound like she was grabbed, like somebody grabbed her.
And maybe the lens fell and they just chucked it.
Yeah, it's possible. You know,
it is weird. Why would it be there unless she walked through there and the lens cap fell off? And
the fact that they're so hesitant to give the report makes me think that they know there was a killer maybe working there at the time and they just didn't want it getting out. But I'm going to go with lost. But there's a
leaving the door open for
a serial killer, because that almost makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Based on everything else.
Yeah.
But it just kills me to think that her skull is out there somewhere with some braces attached to it.
I'm with you.
So I like her family. Most of her family's passed away by now, and she's got
they never got
nieces
closure.
And nephews. Never got closure. So I'm hoping somebody finds something. But that's a huge park, and if she is in a crevasse or if she went like under a rock outcropping or a cave or something like that for the night and died, you might never find her.
I think what's tough about these cases that are like from the 80s, there's no digital trail. Like it's not, our lives aren't documented, or our lives weren't documented back then like they are now.
Yep.
And there's not as much to go off of. Now, if it were a more modern case, we'd have Facebook posts and Instagram posts and signals.
Yeah. And you can buy there's things you can buy for like a couple $100, $200. That's a satellite thing where if you get lost, you it's not a phone, but it's a transponder where you get lost, you click that thing, they'll be able to find you, like pinpoint exactly where you are.
Yeah.
But then people still get lost.
Sure.
I'm reading constantly about people getting lost in national parks. So to end the Stacy stuff, from an October 28th, 2017 article on Vice.com called, quote, How America's National Parks Became Hotbeds of Paranormal Activity. The article ends with, quote, As for what happened to Stacy that day, there are plenty of theories, but no definitive answers. Could she have crossed paths with a mountain lion? Surely somebody would have heard her scream. Did she fall and slip between some rocks? Search and rescue seemed to look everywhere. Or was her disappearance a homicide? According to the elderly man who accompanied her for a bit, there was allegedly another group of hikers nearby. Stacy's a cold case now. Unlike other missing children in more recent times, she's not memorialized on a website or on Facebook, yet people haven't forgotten her, and Dave Paulides gets credit for that. It's a strange compromise to be remembered as an X-file, but maybe that's what it takes. Maybe soon the National Park Service will dust off these records and make them public. They're likely to seem a lot less mysterious, as all things are when brought out into the light. So there you go. There's Stacy Arras.
It's sad.
It is sad. And it like the no closure thing just always gets me. Like that just sucks, you know.
Her family,
like with Trini Gibson too. Like no closure, still don't know what happened to her.
Right.
So that's Stacy Arras, missing 411. Got the whole ball rolling with that when they would not give Paulides the file for that.
Sparked a whole movement.
Yep. But now we're going to get into some general weirdness of Yosemite National Park.
Okay.
And there's a couple different ones. It's pretty interesting. I never knew any of these. So on MysteriousUniverse.com, there is a 2017 article called, quote, Curses, Vanishing, and Strange Paranormal Mysteries at Yosemite National Park. The first one is the Curse of Tenaya Canyon. There's a place called Tenaya Canyon, which runs from Tenaya Lake to a mountain called Cloud's Rest, which is right next to the iconic Half Dome. The landscape there is gorgeous, made up of clear, deep pools, waterfalls, rock formations, and flowing streams. It's so pretty. I looked at pictures of it. But it's also insanely challenging and deadly. There's no trail down Tenaya Canyon. The official Yosemite Trail map you're given at the park specifically has on it in big letters, quote, hiking in Tenaya Canyon is dangerous and strongly discouraged. People attempting to hike in that area often have to be airlifted out.
Oh, boy.
And people continually go hiking in that area.
I can do it.
Yeah.
I would not make that mistake.
I'll be like, I'm
not overconfident about my hiking skill.
I was in Point Beach once or twice. I know my way around
Yeah.
a park. Yeah, but people always get stuck in there. From that Mysterious Universe article, quote, when white settlers arrived in Yosemite Valley, they encountered a tribe of Native Americans called the Wani, who were a peaceful people but also prone to occasionally poaching livestock from their new neighbors. In the 1850s, the whites decided that they had enough of sharing the land with these troublesome natives and sought to relocate the Wani to a reservation in Fresno, California.
I just shake my head.
I know.
Oh, we're just going to decide to uproot this community.
We thought it was ours.
That
we thought
was
it was
here
a
first.
Manifest destiny. This is our land. The normally peaceful Wani tribe, led by a chief Tenaya, did not go perhaps as compliantly as was expected.
Good.
They defied the order to get out. Eventually, the white settlers sent in a contingent of armed men led by a Captain John Bowling to forcibly remove the tribe, and things went just about as well as expected. Instead of fleeing in fear, as was expected of the usually apparently docile natives, the Wani instead opted to stubbornly stand their ground and fight. During the ensuing violence, Chief Tenaya's son was among the dead, which sent him into a profound rage in which he invoked a curse on the valley against the white man. The chief supposedly said this curse as he was confronted by an armed captain during the battle, saying, quote, kill me, Sir Captain. Yes, kill me as you killed my son, as you would kill my people if they were to come to you. You would kill all my race if you had the power. You have made me sorrowful, my life dark. You killed the child of my heart. Why not kill the father too? You may kill me, Sir Captain, but you shall not live in peace. I will follow in your footsteps. I will not leave my home, but be with the spirits among the rocks, the waterfalls, in the rivers, and in the wind. Wherever you go, I will be with you. You will not see me, but you will fear the spirit of the chief and grow cold. Yikes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hell hath no fury.
Nope. Since then, the chief has allegedly been true to his words, and in the years since that fateful day, Tenaya Canyon, and by some accounts the whole of Yosemite Valley, has been said to be plagued by all manners of freak accidents, strange deaths, mishaps, and unexplained phenomena, such as unexplained noises and shadowy apparitions. There are supposedly far more incidents of rock climbing and hiking accidents and fatalities in the Tenaya area than other places in the park, and so many people have gone missing here that it has garnered itself the ominous nickname of the Bermuda Triangle of Yosemite. Yeah. And I believe that's kind of where she was, like in that area when Stacy disappeared. So there's the curse. There's also haunted locations there, which I never knew that there were actually like hotels in this park.
Oh,
like
no,
big
me neither.
hotels,
Really?
like nice ones. Yeah.
Okay. For the people who don't want to rough it.
A Wani Hotel, spookily named after the previously mentioned doomed tribe, opened in 1927, just a short distance from Half Dome. The Wani Hotel at the time was a big deal, and that was a large, luxurious hotel in an area known for mostly camping and small lodges, which made it a popular destination with tourists. It has also become well known for being haunted. It was reportedly one of the biggest inspirations for the Overlook Hotel in The Shining. And if you see a picture of it, it looks like The Shining Hotel.
Okay.
Yep.
I can picture it.
There are numerous ghosts said to inhabit the hotel, such as that of a woman named Mary Curry Tressiter, who had been part of the hotel's design and opening and who lived and died in her private apartment here in 1970. Her ghost supposedly lingers on the 6th floor where her room was located, and sightings of her ghost are frequently reported by staff and guests alike. The entity is said to be more prankish than frightening and is known for tucking in visitors as they sleep, folding their clothes, and misplacing their items around rooms, as well as guests hearing her call out to them in the middle of the night. That's creepy.
Mm-hmm. She can fold my clothes. I just
he
don't
can
want
fold
to hear
my
her
clothes
say
and
my
tuck
name.
me in. I just don't want to hear that. John F. Kennedy stayed in the hotel during a visit in 1962. He had been having back pain, so a rocking chair was brought up to his room, and he reportedly spent a lot of time sitting there calmly rocking away. The chair was removed from the room after he left, but since his death, a ghostly rocking chair has often been reported showing up on its own in rooms and halls throughout the hotel's 3rd floor, which is where Kennedy's room had been, and especially in his actual room itself. So there is a ghostly rocking chair that just shows up.
Not a chair that just rocks on its own.
No,
The
but it's
chair
a ghostly.
itself
It's a
just shows
ghostly
up.
rocking chair that
Wow.
shows up.
Okay.
And I'm
Never
assuming
heard of that
I'm
before.
assuming that there's ghostly rocking noises too.
I would imagine.
But a rocking chair just showing up is creepy enough.
That's weird.
You know. So I
You
don't
see
know.
that every day.
No, that'd be like one just all of a sudden you come down here one day and there's a rocking chair sitting down
That
here.
would be so creepy.
Yeah, if it was rocking, I think we'd be looking
Just
for.
the chair itself would be creepy because we don't have a rocking
No,
chair.
I think we'd be looking for a new studio if that happened,
Yeah.
wouldn't we?
Sell this house.
Yeah. Another haunted hotel in Yosemite National Park is the Sierra Sky Ranch. Built in 1877, the Sierra Sky Ranch started its life as a sanitarium for housing and quarantining victims of tuberculosis.
Is that your nickname for it? Tuberculosis.
I got a little bit of the tuberculosis, many of whom died here. Several were children. After that, it became a home for World War I veterans, and then it went on to become a hotel containing 29 rooms. Guests constantly report a range of weird paranormal activity. From that article, quote, one of the most common types of ghostly occurrence at the Sierra Sky Ranch is that of phantom children who are said to run up and down stairs and halls and who can be heard giggling, whispering, or talking when no one is around or talking in the very walls themselves. That's creepy. Anything coming from the walls.
Talking in the
in the
walls.
walls. These spectral children are reportedly most often sighted in the media room and the main living room area of the hotel and are blamed for some of the poltergeist activity reported from here, such as lights, faucets, or appliances turning on or off by themselves, doors opening or slamming shut when no one is around, and guests' clothing being tugged by unseen hands. Other ghosts said to inhabit the Sierra Sky Ranch are a woman who supposedly lurks about the main house and library and who smells of perfume, a ghostly bar patron who kisses visitors and bartenders on the cheek, and the more sinister entity of a scowling, angry-looking man who paces about on the hotel veranda and has been known to violently knock over furniture. Yep. I'd love to stay at one of those places in
So
the
would
park.
I.
I think some of the money we get coming in for our...
Hey, we can do it.
We should do a trip to Yosemite.
Sure.
Do a live episode from Yosemite.
Never to
Then you
be
could go
heard
out and
from
see how
again.
easy it is to get lost. We're just going to send you out.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
In flip-flops?
In flip-flops.
No compass or flashlight?
Another haunted area is said to be Grouse Lake. The first report of something happening there was in 1857 by Galen Clark, who later became Yosemite's very first park ranger in 1867. Clark was hiking out to the small lake when he claimed that he'd heard a strange wailing seeming to come from the water itself, sounding, quote, like a lost puppy. Clark later asked some Native Americans of the area what kind of animal it was that he had heard, or if they had a dog that could have made the noise, and they told him that what he heard was the spirit of a tribal boy who had drowned there years ago and did not take kindly to visitors. It was even claimed that he would attack anyone who set foot in the water. Clark later wrote of this, quote, they replied that it was not a dog, that a long time ago an Indian boy had been drowned in the lake, and every time anyone passed there, he always cried after them, and no one dared go into the lake, for the boy would catch them by the legs and pull them down, and they would be drowned.
Well,
I then concluded that it must have been some unseen waterfowl that actually made the cry, and at that time I thought the Indians were trying to impose on my credulity, that they thought he was naive, that they were just like trying to pull his chain, so to speak.
Okay.
But now
but this sounds like
Yeah.
classic, like
Yeah.
Native American.
But now I am
lore.
convinced that they fully believe the story they
Yes,
told me.
Absolutely.
Yep. And to this day, people report strange sounds coming from the area of the lake. I would love to check out that lake.
Yeah.
So much.
Not alone, but yeah.
Yeah. And then there is the haunting of perhaps Yosemite's most famous waterfall, Bridal Veil Fall, which cascades 617 feet down a sheer granite cliff. The Wani tribe believed that the fall was the haunt of an evil spirit called Pohono, who was known to try and lure unsuspecting victims over the precipice to their deaths. The method by which the spirit was said to do this varied, in some cases using hypnotic rainbows in the mist to draw people closer, and in other cases calling out to use curiosity against victims or even appearing as an apparition to beckon people closer, after which a strong gust of wind would blow them over the fall. Indeed, there have been a few recorded deaths of people being blown out over the fall or slipping and falling far to the rocks below, and the winds are said to be very unpredictable at the top. Campers in the area have also reported hearing strange voices or sounds coming from the direction of the falls at night. Creepy.
Yeah.
And now we got some personal stories that I got off Reddit. Reddit user, or this was from a comment section after one of these articles about Yosemite. A user named Cindy Sherhold said, quote, "My son said that they had met local Indians up there that say there is also a creature that they call the Nunu that lives up there. The Nunu are short, ugly little troll-like creatures. The only experience my son has had up there so far is that they were too far from the base camp one day to hike back, so they were told to make camp in this old uninhabited Conservation Corps building. It's used from time to time, but nobody lives or stays there for most of the year. Anyway, he told me he was laying down, about ready to go to sleep, and he heard a strange noise. It sounded like something had come up running to the outside of the building and made a noise that sounded to him like it was whispering the letters W-A-P-E. Yeah, the whispering, it was like muttering, and it sounded like W-A-P-E.
Okay.
And then whatever it was ran off. He said it literally scared the heck out of him, but he didn't try to go see what it was. I know.
Something like muttering or whispering nearby, and you can't... Oh, that's weird.
Yep. And I believe this is the same person or somebody else, but they said summer of 1994. I was a seasonal employee of Yosemite National Park and was housed in a residence near the base of Yosemite Falls in Yosemite Valley. There were several of us housed there, and we all felt somehow that something was watching us. There might be some movement in the corner of an eye as you entered a room, but when you looked, nothing was there. My room was at the end of a hallway with a door on one side that led up to a second story by way of stairs. That door was kept locked since nobody was allowed on the second story. One night, my car alarm went off, and I moved through the dark house to the porch and down to disable the alarm. I had no difficulty moving through the dark hallway going out, but coming back to my bedroom, I ran smack into the stairway door that for some inexplicable reason was now open across the hallway. Rubbing my forehead ruefully, I closed that door and climbed back into bed. Within a minute or two, that hallway door slammed and a thumping noise ran up the stairway behind it. I stayed in bed. The next day, I was telling my story to a friend in the room when the closet door unlatched by itself and opened fully, emitting a small squeaking sound.
Come on.
This residence is still in the Valley residential area where all the housing was built over the primal sites of the Ouachini villages and graveyards. Yep. So, yeah, that's... I really want to go
all
to this
that
place.
land, and they decide to build on top of...
I know. Graveyard.
Come on, people.
Yep. I know, that's just bizarre, but there are a lot of weird things out at Yosemite National Park. Mm-hmm. And I really badly want to go there now. So that is the weirdness of Yosemite.
I like it. I like that we got a little haunting stuff.
We got haunting stuff in there. Well, you said we needed to get more paranormal stuff.
We did.
And,
thank you.
My tooth is starting to hurt.
Uh-oh.
I have two more weird stories that I just threw in here that I was going to use if we had time, and I think we got time.
Yeah, I think so.
So I just think these are super cool. The second one I might have read already, but I don't think I did. But I think there is going to be a episode about this phenomenon maybe next season because I just think it's fascinating, and it's the camouflage stuff.
Oh, cloaking.
But the first, I just looked up random stories from national parks or state parks that were weird, and I just took these two out because I like them. The first one is from Reddit user Fight the Power 98.
Oh.
He says, I got a story. I was a part of a 3-person trail crew. We were a good 26 miles from the trailhead. We were working on diverting the existing trail from an eroding cliff. This new trail was going to be a 7-mile diversion, so we were 5 miles into building the new trail, about another half day until we linked up with the old trail. It's mid-morning, so we decide to take a quick break. I leave my 2 crew members to go answer nature's call, so I am digging a small hole to poop in.
Oh.
When all of a sudden I hear someone whistling a tune. I just assume it's my crew, so I call out, "This place is occupied." The whistling stops. It was quiet. Then it started again. It moves just below where I am at. I stand up, and down the hill a ways I see 2 men. Both men were dressed in black suits and top hats carrying canes, just casually walking in the middle of the wilderness, no packs, no water bottles, looking like they were taking a stroll in a park after an opera. I walk back to my crew, way freaked out. I tell them what I saw. We all go back and just catch the 2 men leaving. One of my crew screams down at them and waves. They ignore us and just keep casually walking until they're out of sight.
I'm glad his crew members saw them too.
Yeah, they weren't even using any trails. They were just walking in between trees.
Whoa.
Just a weird and freaky experience for all three of us. I don't think we slept that night. We finished our trail the following morning and headed out back to civilization.
It's like a snapshot into the past or something.
We just took note of it in our weekly report just in case people actually did get lost out there, but there were no reports.
It's like a residual thing or something.
It's creepy. Like two guys. That makes me think like a weird cult thing or like.
But why wouldn't they respond?
I don't know. But it's weird that they had top hats, like like old fashioned suits and canes. And
I feel like that was a residual thing.
I don't know.
They saw something that happened 100 years ago.
Yeah, both men were dressed in black suits and top hats, carrying canes, just casually walking in the middle of the wilderness with no packs, water bottles,
were they
or
talking?
Anything. I don't know. He didn't say. But that just kind of creeped me out. Like
that's creepy.
Like if I was ever out in the woods and I saw somebody in like a black suit and a top hat just walking,
that's so out of place.
Freak out.
It's not natural.
Yeah. Yep. So I don't know. That is weird.
That's very weird.
And this last one is longer, but this is one of those things I'm fascinated with. It's by Reddit user Tens Sand Shoes. No idea. Would just like to start by saying that I am new to Reddit, and this is my first post, so please bear with me if I'm not doing this right. The story I'm about to share is actually why I joined Reddit on my quest to find out if this has happened to anyone else. This is 100% true and is really hard for me to share because anytime I have tried to tell someone about it, I get laughed at and accused of trying to pull their leg. I recently seen an article about a woman who was hunting and seen an invisible/cloaked creature that she described as almost like a predator from the movie of the same name. I read her story and saw the picture she took of said predator. We talked about this picture. Now for her picture, remember that it was the guy's wife was up in a tree.
Oh, yes.
And
I do remember
the picture doesn't look like super weird.
No.
But she says, now for her picture, I personally think it's a combination of flare from the sun and a close-up of possibly her face or something, which is what we thought too. Mm-hmm. I am not dismissing her story, though. Actually, quite the opposite, since I too have encountered something similar. And it is what prompted me to seek out if anyone else has encountered a, quote, predator in the woods. Now on to my encounter. When I was about 5 years old, I was playing by the edge of the woods behind my grandmother's house. I played there often, and my grandma just kept an eye on me from the kitchen or living room because the house had huge windows that faced the woods. She would come out every once in a while to see what I was up to. I was obsessed with digging in the dirt and collecting unusual rocks and arrowheads that littered the land where my grandmother lived. I should mention that this was Midwest Illinois, not too far from the Cahoyka Mounds, so finding arrowheads was actually not that uncommon. Anyway, that day I remember picking out a spot to dig. I had been out there for quite a while because I remember I had a pretty decent sized hole going when something caught my eye up in the tree that I was next to. I almost don't know how to explain it, but it looked like almost a heat wave coming off the branch of the tree. It was fall. I remember this because I had my pink jacket on and remember thinking that my mom was going to be pissed because I had dirt around the bottom of the arms from digging. I also remember there being a lot of leaves on the ground. Anyway, I'm staring at this heat wave thing and realize that it has a human shape. So here I am, 5 years old and wondering why there is an invisible man in the tree. I remember feeling scared but unsure what to do. Then it slowly started moving and making a faint clicking sound. That is about the time I decided that I was not supposed to be seeing this, and I hightailed it back to the house. My grandmother saw that I was pretty shaken, and I remember telling her that I had just seen an angel. In my 5-year-old mind, I didn't know what else it could be. I had never heard of aliens or ghosts or monsters, so to me it had to be an angel because that's all my little mind could think of. Fast forward to when I'm about 12 years old. By this time, the encounter was way out of mind. I loved watching action and sci-fi movies. My dad rented a movie called Predator. I am watching it with him, and the first time you see the predator invisible and cloaked, I just about pooped my pants. All the memories of that day digging in the dirt came flooding back. I even asked my dad if Predator was real, or if he knew anyone or any animal that had cloaking abilities like that I didn't know about. He told me it was all fake. It wasn't like it is today where I could just Google it. I had no internet, so again, I just put it out of my mind. Now fast forward to about the year 2004. I am grown. I have 3 small children. I just went through a separation from my husband. I moved to the next town over to an apartment with my kids. These apartments are all one-level duplexes with there being 5 buildings. I am on the very last apartment of the last building. The apartments are considered in town, but are on the outskirts. There's a deep ditch that runs behind the buildings with a chain link fence that separates the backyard from the ditch. There are about 6 or 7 trees on our side of the fence. If you follow the ditch a little bit, you hit a small forest that eventually leads to the country with a larger forest and farmland. I am a smoker, but would not smoke in the apartment because of the kids, so I often went out to our back porch. One night, I was up late doing laundry and stuff after the kids went to bed. I decided to take a smoke break before I myself went to sleep. I am back there standing on the porch, and then I started hearing this faint clicking sound. I immediately looked to the ditch because I had seen a groundhog out there a few days before and thought that perhaps he was out there again. The yard is faintly lit from the outside light that is on by the playground that is just to the right of my back porch. I didn't turn on my porch light. I didn't normally if I was just going out for a quick smoke. I didn't see any groundhog or anything in the ditch, so I go back to smoking my cigarette. The faint clicking sound keeps happening, and a slight shift of movement makes me look up into the tree to the left of my porch. It's there, the same invisible thing I had seen when I was 5. It's like a distortion in a humanoid shape. It's crouched down on the branch with an arm out holding onto the trunk of the tree. I couldn't believe it. I was like, is this happening? Has it come to kill me from seeing it all those years ago? All I could think about was my kids in the apartment sleeping. I ran in and slammed and locked the door. I ran to the kids' rooms and made sure all the windows were locked. Then I just turned out the lights of the living room and stared out the blinds at the tree to see if I could catch another glimpse of it. I sat there for about a good 10 minutes and couldn't see anything. I began to think that I'm just tired and my mind is playing tricks on me. Just as I was finally talking myself down, my neighbor's dog comes running across the yard and starts barking at the tree at the same branch that I had seen this predator thing on. This pretty much freaked me out because this dog was not a barker. I had never heard him bark at anything, even at the groundhog that had been hanging out at the ditch. This barking went on for a few minutes until I hear the neighbor lady who owns the dog call him back inside. The dog reluctantly turned to go back home, stopping every few feet to look back at that branch of the tree until he was out of sight. I didn't sleep that night and have never seen anything like it again. I don't know what to think of it. I'm a grown woman. I have kids and a good career. I just want to know if anyone else has ever had an experience like this. I know what I saw, believe it or not. Thanks for taking the time to read this.
The clicking thing makes me think of Signs.
It makes me think of Last of Us, where with the clicker, where like one of the zombies is the clicker.
Yeah, they would make that clicking noise.
But there are, this is what I want to have an episode on, but because we talked about this quite a bit during one of the Missing 411, but there's a lot of reports of people seeing something that looks like a camouflage creature or humanoid, like in a tree or in the woods. And we talked about that. It was one of the weirder theories for Missing 411 is that this is something that the military is doing, and they're testing it out on people, you know, seeing if they can like
detect you
or whatever. So I don't know. I just thought this was a really fascinating story.
It is.
Like the predator, like the thing being camouflaged creeps me out, where you can just see like a hint of a shape, but it's like shimmering. So there you go. Those are my couple stories that I thought were interesting and I put on there.
Yeah.
So there you go. That was our second last episode of the season.
Crazy.
Sorry it was a little slapdash, but it's been a crazy 2 weeks or so.
I enjoyed it.
I hope everybody else did.
Do we have any questions?
No, because remember we didn't have any last time. Let me double check because I complained last time that we didn't have any.
I guess start thinking about my song choice. You even told me to like prepare. Okay. We actually have questions?
2 new questions.
Okay.
Both philosophical.
Oh, great.
You ready?
Should we save one for next week? Not next week, but the last episode? What if we don't have any?
No, we have time to kill. Let's just do 2.
Okay.
We need questions by next week, people.
We're an hour and 40 minutes.
We need questions next week, people.
Okay.
Question number 1. A deep one.
Great.
What is your philosophy in life?
Ugh. That's really vague.
It's super vague, but what is your philosophy in life? Like my philosophy in life is just to be good to other people. Live your life the best you can. Make mistakes because you're going to make them. Just do your best not to hurt anybody else and just be, you know, like Bill and Ted said, be excellent to each other. That's basically my philosophy in life is just be good to other people.
I feel like I live the same way too. Like I really do try to treat people the way I want to be treated, but it's also about appreciating what you have.
Yes.
I think we spend so much time wishing for things we don't have, and there are thousands of people who would give anything to have what you have.
Yeah.
And so I think my philosophy is gratitude. Practice gratitude for what you have in your life, whether it's people, it's your job, not possessions, but things that are special to you. Whether it's the fact that you can look outside and see trees.
Yeah.
Like Gratitude.
I think of my students always being like, oh, my home life sucks and all that. And granted, some of them do. But this week I've been seeing like nothing except the news story about those kids that were like chained to the wall.
Oh.
In that, like, where the girls got out and managed to call the cops. And it's like, God, it's like, could you imagine that?
Right.
Like, everybody thinks that they have it rough with some stuff, but you have no idea how rough some other people have it.
Yeah, some people are literally tortured.
I complain about my life, about not having money, but I have a roof over my head right now, so that's more than some people have.
Yeah.
So,
and really, if you think about it, you have everything you need.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I do. And if I don't, I have Corey, I have you, I have friends that won't let me...
Right.
Live in a box under a bridge somewhere, so and
there's strange
people,
cellar's always open to you, Kurt.
Thank you. As long as there's no ghostly rocking chair, I'm fine.
There's not.
But people always have it way worse than you.
Absolutely.
You do. So just always remember that, and just be good to each other.
There are people who don't have clean drinking water. I mean, or food. For their next meal.
No.
I mean, it's crazy.
Nope. And just be good to each other, because right now is a time when people just aren't. Everybody is so at everybody's throat. And it's just disturbing.
But remember, that's all we see on the news. We don't see the good that's happening because that's not news. So I guess remember that the world is sometimes a better place than what we sometimes think.
And the news makes it look.
Kurt's really going to town on that
I like this.
candy.
I like this thing, darn it.
Okay, what's the second one?
The second one, where and when have you felt your biggest adrenaline rush? I don't know. That one, I don't know.
Unfortunately, it's probably been traumatic situations. Probably like when Jim had his medical stuff back in the day.
Yes, because that was bad.
Like when he was having a seizure, a grand mal seizure. That was like, wow. I still can remember that with vivid detail, and it was like 15, 16 years ago. I'm not a thrill seeker. I don't do stuff where...
No, but I feel like we get them on investigations. Like on ghost investigations, like you in the vault. That was an adrenaline rush.
I suppose, yeah. It's not the same as someone you love might be dying in front of you. That...
I guess I'm looking at good adrenaline rushes.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, other than ghost hunting, I guess, sure, I've been on a roller coaster. I don't remember that too much. I mean, I don't think about that stuff. Unfortunately, what comes to mind to me is traumatic things. Yeah. Because those things just unfortunately stand out more in your brain than the happy
See, I guess
stuff.
I was looking at like ghost hunting investigations, like at Vicky's, at Elsing's in Stoughton.
That first EVP session.
Like every time we were there, something happened. Yeah. You and I being freaked out in the back room, and you had us having to leave that area because we were both so freaked out.
The thing breathing in my ear was definitely...
The thing breathing in your ear racing. When I was down in the furniture room by myself in the morning, and I asked, is there anybody here? And something tapped on the table right next to my head. The fingers running along the back of my hand when I was sitting up on the stairway. When we first hear our EVPs that we caught, like all my stuff is tied, like good adrenaline rushes are tied in with
ghost hunting.
Yeah.
Also watching a tree fall on my house.
A bad one would be when I found my dad.
Oh, sure.
Dead in his bed with a heart attack. That was a bad adrenaline rush. And but I tend to go towards like the good ones, like the ghost hunting stuff. Yep.
I miss that stuff.
I know. We got to do, like next year, we got to do some live on a ghost hunt. We have to go somewhere.
I think we could take Coleman up on his offer to
do the
reserve the asylum for one night for
or even if just like you and I go to a cemetery and like record a little bit in a cemetery. I think we got to start doing, I don't want to say, what am I looking for? Like when a news story is from location.
On location.
On location. Yeah, we need to do more.
We got to do more in the field.
We have to do more in the field. Like just you and I record. Maybe one day go back to the old school just for the hell of it and just record you and I talking there. You don't want to go back there.
I just have no desire.
No, because I sent you that picture.
I don't have any positive association with it anymore. Yeah. There's too much anxiety around it.
Yeah. But I think we need to do more next season. Yeah. Like go on an investigation and then record you and I talking during the investigation and stuff.
Yeah, hey, if you live in Wisconsin and you know of a place that we could get into to do like a late afternoon, early evening investigation.
Very early evening investigation.
Let us know. We'd love to do that.
Yeah, if you got a place that's haunted at like 9 a.m., let me know. I'm your guy.
Places don't stop being haunted during the day. So, I mean, I know we investigate at night because there's less ambient noise. Your senses are heightened because it's dark and it's just more of a rush to do it at night. But again, things don't just stop happening because it's daylight.
Exactly.
That'd be a great experiment. Do an investigation in the day.
Maybe that's something we could
groundbreaking.
That will be groundbreaking. So cool. Good questions. But we need more questions for next week, people.
And next season.
That's going to be your mission. That is your mission over our break, is to send us more questions.
Are we moving on to song choices?
We're moving on to song choices.
There was no theme.
No, we could just, because I was super late in getting back to Krista about it. So I just said, pick whatever song you want.
So I actually have had a song running through my head lately, and I can't remember why. I don't know if I heard it on a commercial or something, but this is so weird because I'm not normally like a Madonna person.
Oh boy.
But her song Frozen, it's a little different. It's from her Ray of Light album. It's kind of dark a little. You know how I like my dark music. And
I know.
The words are, if
emo,
I could melt your
Krista.
heart. Oh yeah, emo. That's not at all the vibe I go for. I don't know. I just like it. It has sort of like I can't think of the word I'm looking for.
Melancholy? Like a melancholy?
No, it's sort of like I picture Morocco or something exotic. It has that feel to it. Mm-hmm. The drums and sort of if I remember the video, it's very, I think she's doing like some.
I kind of remember the video.
Yeah.
Like vaguely.
I just think it's a cool song. Like I said, I'm not really a huge Madonna fan, but
I'm not a Madonna fan, really, but you know what song I love? Every time I hear it, I'm like, I love this song, Ray of Light.
Oh,
I love the song Ray of Light.
I think that's
really
off the same album.
Yeah. But
Is
I love
that
that
name
song.
Of the album?
Yeah, I think so.
I just said it's the name
so
of
I'm pretty
the
sure
album.
that's on there.
What?
But I love the song Ray of Light. I'm not a Madonna guy. I mean, I was around in the 80s when Madonna was huge.
I mean, anytime like Material Girl comes on or something, I'm going to sing along.
But she was better than I think she got credit for. Like her songs, I feel the same way about Cyndi Lauper. Like Cyndi Lauper had some darn good songs. Yeah.
Her song True Colors.
And
so good.
What's the one I'm thinking of? Like one of the
Girls
best
Just
songs
Wanna
ever
Have
written.
Fun?
No.
Oh, okay.
One of the best songs ever written. Time After Time
is
one of the best songs ever written.
So good.
So so I'm totally down. I can go with Madonna.
Cool.
The one I'm going to go with, and I believe I mentioned it on this podcast years ago, but I love this, and this is fascinating to me because this is not an actual song. It's a mashup.
Oh.
And this came out in 2012. There's this guy that does these like brilliant mashups of songs. His name is DJ Earworm.
Earworm, okay.
And at the end of every year, he takes like hits from that year and weaves them into a new song.
Okay.
And it just floors me because this is on my flash drive in my car. And I listen to this, and to me, this is its own song. So when I'm listening to a song and one of these parts is on that song, it just seems weird to me because it's like it doesn't belong in the original song. It belongs in this. But it's the song called Shine Brighter.
Okay.
And I just think this is one of the best things I've ever heard in my life. I listen to it in my car all the time. But like I said, this is one of those things where like the sum is more than its individual parts, where I think this is brilliant. And when I hear Call Me Maybe or whatever, it's like the section that's in this song just sounds weird because it's not in this song.
Okay.
And I love this song, so mine is Shine Brighter by DJ Earworm.
Earworm. Okay.
I will post it in
cool.
there. Like Kesha is in there.
Interesting.
The Lumineers is in there.
Oh.
And most people that do mashups just like put one of the lyrics with the beat from the other song, and he actually weaves the lyrics together so that they're making like new phrases.
Interesting.
But he does it so well that I'm just floored. I used to listen to him every year, but 2012 Shine Brighter is just like amazing. That's one of the best ones. So I will post that in the group.
Nice. Is it time for a pickle joke?
I think it's time for a pickle joke. And then we will do should I do our deets first?
Yeah, go ahead.
You can email us at thestrangesessions@gmail.com. We are on Twitter at Strange Session without the S. We are on Instagram at The Strange Sessions, where Krista just does a bang-up job. You can send us postcards and snail mail. We probably don't need any more food right now because we're done with the season.
Yeah.
So don't send any
and
taste test stuff.
Taste test stuff to do.
But you can send us postcards and snail mail to The Strange Sessions, P.O. Box 434, Manitou Rock, Wisconsin, 54221-0434. And you can call our, it's not a lonely phone line anymore, but it's 920-443-9602.
And we love voicemails for the listener stories.
Yes, for listener stories. Again, thestrangesessions@gmail.com. But for sending us a voicemail for a listener story, it is 920-443-9602. There are no prompts saying, this is The Strange Sessions. It just says, what's your message? And you have like a 3-minute limit. So that if you don't get that, you got to call back. And I'll stitch it together. But please send us stories by the next episode. Please, please, please. I'll be hitting you up in the Facebook groups.
And Instagram.
And I'll probably be coming to your house door to door, asking you for stories, begging you on your front. I'll be drunk out on your front porch at 3 a.m., begging you for stories.
I need your stories.
It is a story booty call.
Okay, hold on a second. Okay.
So, yeah, we need stories.
In case Kurt didn't make it clear, we need stories.
We need stories.
Okay, so I can never remember where I left off. What gives a pickle good taste?
College. Something about college.
Yep, 4 years at an Ivy League school. What's the phrase heard most often at pickle card games?
What?
Dill me in. That one's actually not bad. All right, I think that's it.
I am loving this sucky thing.
Not sucky as in it's terrible?
No, as in I love sucking on it or licking it. I'll just end there because there is no place good we could go from that point. And I think that's it.
It is.
If we haven't mentioned it yet, please send us your stories for the next episode or season finale.
Also, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Chris and I will be taking our break pretty soon to recharge our batteries.
Speaking of Thanksgiving, I just want to say how thankful we are for you guys.
Yeah,
for
you
our
guys
strangers.
have no idea. You literally have no idea.
No, you don't.
Yeah, we love you guys more than you know. Like,
we do.
We never in a million years thought it would be what it is today. Mm-hmm. And granted, we are not breaking any records in the podcast industry.
No.
But
not winning awards.
We every email, every message we get from somebody,
it means so much.
It means so much to us. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for listening.
We never get an email and we're like, oh, we got another email. We're like, oh, did you see the email we just got?
I know.
Like,
I remember one of the only bad ones we got is that one that called us called me the frat boy and you the giggly, the giggly millennial.
Somebody sent us an email too, though, that was like, you guys haven't put out any good content in like weeks, but then they emailed again and they're like, oh, sorry, wrong podcast.
So,
and we were like, yeah, right. They probably just didn't get a response and felt bad.
I'll be the first one to admit that this season was not subpar, but it was so-so. But I think we just kind of had a lot. I had a lot going on this season, so I feel like this season wasn't up to snuff, but darn it, we'll get it going one of these times.
Sure.
People always say even a bad episode is better than good episodes from other podcasts.
Sure.
So we love you guys.
Yeah, we do.
That's all there is to it.
Yep.
So I think from Krista and I, send us your stories. We are down in the strange cellar. And now we have Mothman looking out at us. Yep. And thank you so much, the Carpenters and Tom for the awesome gifts.
Yeah, amazing.
We love you guys. Thank you so much for making all of this possible. And until next time, stay strange.